Out today after a fire near Chelmsford. It broke out in a warehouse at Maldon which contained a number of gas cylinders. The police cleared the area in case there was a major explosion.
This footage taken by the fire service shows the intensity of the blaze. It broke out at about 9:30 at the Calorex plant, and the 70 workers on site were quickly moved away.
I was told that there's a fire in the stores by one of my leading hands. Because I'm a fire marshal, I'd done the appropriate action, and we evacuated, and I checked around my area for safety to make sure everybody was out, and we was out in the road within minutes.
Explosions, a small gunfire, I suppose. It sounds like, you know, acetylene bottles are going up from the workshop. There's also a workshop, a part of the store's got a workshop, and that was going up as well.
It was those cylinders which forced the police to set up a 200-metre exclusion zone. Once heated, an exploding cylinder can easily blast its way through a brick wall. The fire also tore through an asbestos roof, leaving debris scattered on some parked cars. A thick cloud of smoke drifted over the estate, backing onto the site. Residents were told to keep windows closed as firefighters battled to get things under control.
We've had a number of the cylinders have exploded. We've had liquid petroleum gas cylinders in there, there's acetylene cylinders, there's oxygen cylinders. So we've adopted a defensive approach, which means we set up our ground monitors, we try and put as much water onto the fire to extinguish it as we can, but in a safe manner.
The local council set up 2 emergency centres for people either moved from their homes or from nearby firms. For some, there was initial confusion about where they should go.
We stood around for about 20 minutes outside our estate. And then the police told us we had to go down to Tesco's and just wait around at Tesco's. So we actually all congregated in McDonald's so we could get a warm drink, and then stayed there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we were told we should be up here.
The fire crews will remain on site tonight. An investigation is already underway, but the fire service says there's nothing to suggest anything suspicious. Kevin Birch, BBC Look East, in Maldon.
A man's been charged with 12 counts of abusing pupils at 2 schools more than 20 years ago. Derek Slade, who's 60 and lives in Staffordshire, was remanded in custody by magistrates in Bury St Edmunds. It's claimed he assaulted 2 underage pupils at the old St George's School near Newmarket and the former Wickerwood School in Norfolk, which is now closed. A jury has retired to consider its verdict on a teenager accused of strangling 15-year-old Liberty Templeman from Essex. Her body was found in a stream in New Zealand, where her family emigrated 5 years ago. A teenager who was 15 at the time denies murder and indecent assault. One of the region's universities is facing a fine of £650,000 for taking on too many students. The government claims that in the last academic year, Anglia Ruskin University enrolled nearly 180 students more than it should have done. The university blames the government for changing its figures.
Essex County Council has been praised by the Audit Commission for helping elderly people stay out of residential care. The council uses a system called telecare, which uses technology to keep people safe in their own homes instead.
Hello, Mrs. Loban, it's the care line. Is everything okay there?
Everything's fine, thank you.
87-year-old Kay Loban lives by herself. After a fall in the garden, she decided wearing a button round her neck, which lets her call for help, would put her mind at rest. It helps her live independently rather than going into a care home.
If you can't get up and make yourself a cup of tea, or can't make your bed, or can't do things, you could just go downhill because you've got nothing to do and nothing to think of. And so I think hoping that you can stay at home is a wonderful comfort, really is.
Over the last year, Essex County Council has invested £4 million into their telecare scheme. It's also lowered the age for people to apply from 85 to 80. Now an additional 3,000 people are using it.
The cost of telecare, for example, annually would be about £340 per person, as opposed to a cost of something like £20,000 for an individual in a residential home.
The Audit Commission has praised Essex County Council, saying others should follow suit and should help older people help themselves.
I think the real challenge for councils is to apply the best practice that's going into some parts of the area and applying it to their council so that every council is doing the work of the best. And if that doesn't happen, then those councils are going to have to look at themselves and ask, how can we do it better?
Kay Loban says staying at home keeps her young at heart, and knowing that help is just a button's push away means she carries on enjoying life. Felicity Simper, BBC Look East.
A new stud could be built near Newmarket. Planning permission has been granted for a new development stretching over nearly 400 acres. The site at Gaisley is for sale at £3.3 million. Lotus Racing have damaged their new car. The driver, Heikki Kovalainen, slid off the track during testing in Spain today and sliced off the front wing. The team, which is based in Norfolk, only unveiled the T127 6 days ago. Today was the first time Kovalainen had driven the car, but he'll be back behind the wheel tomorrow. Speaking of the crash on Twitter, he said, "My mistake, tomorrow we go again."
The man known as the Lotto Lout is selling one of his last big possessions. The former dustman, Michael Carroll, is reported to have spent most of the £9 million he won on the lottery, and now his house at Swaffham in Norfolk is up for sale.
This is the house that Michael Carroll bought, and this is the video he's made to sell it. It emphasises its bad points and the marks left on the walls. In fact, this freehold 6-bedroom house in Swaffham has its own tide mark in the bath, broken windows, and a pool which hasn't been cleaned.
Loads of people's interested in it because it's a famous house, isn't it? Needs rewiring, needs a good lick of paint, I know that. 3 windows, just 10, 11 care really, that needs.
Michael Carroll won the lottery at just 19. He collected his winnings wearing an electronic tag. By his own admission, he says he's been in court countless times. The Grange was one of 4 houses he bought. He paid £340,000 for it, spent £400,000 on it, and plans to sell it for whatever he can get.
I've got a headache of it. Just fed up with the place, just don't want it. Just cash it in and get rid of it.
Do you need the money as well?
Well, yes and no.
Michael Carroll didn't have time to come to his own house today, but he's given us permission to be here, and it's obvious the house does need a lot of work.
Really, what he has done, I guess, is be very factual about the property, which, of course, in today, with the Property Misdescriptions Act, we have to be factual, so maybe he needs congratulating.
The former dustman has this advice for the couple who just won £56 million.
Flee the country before the maggots and leeches get older.
Michael Carroll hopes to sell this house and buy another one. Debbie Tubby, BBC Look East, Norfolk.